All right, so back at it, hard to kill with Travis Smith. Uh, Finally putting a face to a name. Travis, thanks for joining us tonight. Uh, so myself and Travis somehow managed to follow each other all throughout the Marine Corps, man. I don't know exactly how we pulled it off because we didn't plan any of it, but since boot camp, I think we've been everywhere together.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, oh man, it's like
Yeah,
that, huh?
boot camp, MCT school.
Yep,
Uh, Damn, we wasn't the same. So MP school,
yep.
then Japan,
And
then
Japan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, man, it's been a trip, huh?
Yeah.
I like the hoodie though. Came out good.
Oh,
What's
oh
that?
okay.
What's that? A medium?
Nah, it's a large. Yeah, it's a. I'm making up. Let me see. I'm making up just muting this live, so yeah, they can hear a double voice. But I'm trying. I tried it. There was like 5 or 6
Damn.
people in, but it's all right. I'm gonna go ahead and just. Well, you know what I do? I just mute mine, and no, cause there's nobody gonna be on here. So my bad, bro. I'm gonna just jump off anyway. It's all good.
Yeah.
I don't want your Zoom to be
We got to
messed up.
figure that out.
Yeah, I don't want your Zoom to be messed up.
All right, we will though.
All right, bro. Yeah, we good.
All right, cool.
We'll figure that part out. But
Yeah, no, that's fine. All right. Get situated here. Stand by. Yo, did you see? Hey, sidebar. Have you seen what they've been doing with the sir and ma'am at boot camp?
nah.
Yeah, I guess they're telling recruits to stop saying sir and ma'am because yeah, man, I know.
Weird world.
Crazy times. That's what they're focused on, though. Like, I don't know.
It's inclusion every time, but we get weaker and weaker about doing that anyway.
The fact.
Like succumbing to
To me, that's just a
whatever.
respect thing, though.
Yeah,
That's instituted at early stages. I mean, not only that. I mean, it's chain of command. It's respecting who's ahead of you, and to me, that's almost a disservice to kids at that age. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
nah,
We're
for sure. No, we're in the South, so I already say sir and ma'am, so it wasn't even a thing. But still, it is like a level of respect just in general. So, um, yeah, that's sad.
really is. So I don't know. Let's start it off from the beginning, man. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Where you're from, maybe your story as a youngster a little bit, and bring us to how you got to the Marine Corps.
Travis Smith, uh, from Macon, Georgia, anyway. So, grew up in the neighborhood. So, played a lot of sports, football, baseball, main two sports anyway. Didn't really have a direction after high school, so it was like I just go to work. I'm working a job, make decent money at the job,
What were you
but I'm
doing?
at the time, like right before the Marine Corps, it was the place called Making Iron. It was a recycling company, so, like bring cars, copper,
Okay.
all stuff like that. So
Oh,
it was cool.
you meet some unique individuals in that, I'm sure.
Yeah. But it was cool. But I also was looking at the people around me. So most of the older guys, they've been there 15, 20 years and they was making $3 an hour. And I'm coming in there making 12 or 15, something like that. And I'm also seeing just where they at. And I'm like, man, this ain't it. And I'm also like 20. So I'm seeing friends that graduated high school with that in jail. It just ain't looking good. So
How old were you when you got to? I mean, when you first started?
I turned 21 in boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I graduated at 17. So just so happened it was just so happened it was I was in a college class, and there was a older white guy, and he was in class. He was in the Air Force, he did like 30 years, and he teach at the school part-time. He teach at the prison, and he been around the world, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hey, I don't know what it was that day. I was like, man, I'm about to go sign up, So I went to the Air Force recruiter the next day, and paper application. They gave me the application, came back the next day. When I came back, I had on short sleeve. When I went in, I had a long sleeve. I came in, I had tattoos young. So I had tattoos on my arm. So he was like,
that was a wrap.
He like, no, we can't take you. The Marine Corps recruiter, he was outside like, hey man, come in here. And I was like, nah. I was just like everybody else, like, man, the Marine Corps crazy, bro.
Hell no.
Nah. So I took the test with the Army. But I scored high on the ASVAB, but the dude kind of wasn't consistent. Then I had a buddy that was running around my apartment complex that was like, hey man, I heard you about to go to the Marine Corps. I'm going. Like, that's why I'm running around the apartment complex. Like, you should go. And it kind of like just dawned upon me. It was like, if I go to any branch, at first I just went to the Air Force because the dude was like, he was in the Air Force. Like, all right. But it was like, man, if I do any one of them, I'd rather just choose the hardest one. I score high enough for all of them. But it was like, I couldn't have nobody saying they did something better than me.
The same way.
So I was like, nah, I'm going to the Marine Corps, man. Yep. And that's how I went in anyway. Like, I had to get up out of where I'm from. So anybody that's come from a low income, now you ain't got to, but if you ain't got nothing to do after high school, I just advise you to just go, and you'll figure it out from there. You'll figure out life from there. Other opportunities to open up for you. And I don't blame. I wouldn't take it back at all. I wouldn't take the experience back at all.
Better than getting jammed up in the streets on some dumb shit,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I hear that. All right. So that was kind of like I think we all at that age have some kind of positive role model that pushes us in that direction. I had the same thing with someone too, really similar to you. It was a recruiter that caught my eye, just someone that was, I looked at and I kind of wanted to model myself off of a little bit because I liked what I saw. I mean, he did the same thing. He went across the world and deployed a couple of times. And honestly, I mean, was 9/11 a factor for you at all? No.
No. 9/11 happened. I was in 9th grade, and I'm in the South. We in Georgia, so you seen it on the news. Like, we in school, but I don't have no family nowhere other than in Georgia, so it really didn't
hit close to home.
I'm 13, 14. Like, oh, something happened. Like,
it really didn't mean much. We didn't really,
I couldn't fathom what really just transpired.
No, I hear you.
So we worried about just life and where I'm from, So it wasn't that, but it definitely should have been something, but it ain't.
Oh, I hear you. You just being real.
Yeah,
I get it. All right, so for you, you didn't even have to. You were in Georgia. Would you drive to South Carolina? Because we all had to take a flight.
Yeah, so we went from Macon is in the middle of Georgia, and the MEPS was in Atlanta. So drove the MEPS, and actually, to be honest, how I got to become an MP because apparently I signed up for Motor T anyway.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, so I signed up for Motor T, but that what was open, and I got there and they was like, I failed the depth perception test, which is the test with the little circles anyway.
Yeah.
And they was like, nah, you can't do Motor T. So it was like, you can go home and wait on another job, or you can go in open contract.
Oof.
And I was like, I ain't going, because my mom was already made.
I'm not going back home.
Open contract. But anyway, they from Atlanta, they shuttle us down there. So that's how I met Nwanko.
Nwanko, yeah.
Swain.
Okay.
Like, both of them was in the same MEPS.
Eddie?
I think they was actually, I think they probably was actually on there, to be honest. and it was crazy that we went to the same platoon, but yeah, I think Eddie and the other one was actually on there.
Okay. Travis, try to bring your camera down a little bit.
Okay, hold on, let's see.
A little bit more. Yeah, right there. That's good. Yep.
Here.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. So now, do you remember? I think you remember the first platoon we went to before we went to 1069, before we met with like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I met you first, I'm pretty sure. And really it was just like like a waiting.
Yeah, you just waiting.
What, we in
Yeah.
there for like a week or something like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then Capone, Coulter, and Chambers introduced themselves that first day, and we knew we were fucking in for it for sure, man. I remember being pretty shook after the first time that they introduced themselves. I could tell that we were into definitely gonna have a legit 3 months, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh but yeah, I mean, what did you think about boot camp as a whole?
Shit, the boot for me it was entertaining.
It definitely was entertaining, I'll give you that.
To me it was entertaining. So, but what it exposed was uh, everybody don't come from where I come from, right? So like the people that folded, like you could tell, like they mom, or they parents never yelled at them.
For sure.
They like shook. Me, I'm
Yeah.
like cussing at me, like bro, my mom been cussing at me my whole life.
uh
You know, like
no, yeah,
it was an automatic game because
this
it's
shit's
like
normal.
no, I just catch on quick. So I'm like, all right, they gotta give us. They can play around as much as they want, but I understand like rules of how stuff goes. So I was like, nah, they gotta give us time. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, all right, we wake up at 4, go to child, get back, PT, come back. Everything's on the time.
Yep.
In bed by 8 o'clock because they gotta give us 8 hours. But they don't tell you that. It make you feel kind of crazy because you should. But me, nah, man. That's why I used to start. I started messing up. You know
I
what
know,
I'm saying?
I remember.
Yeah, so just on purpose because I just seen how it was. It's like, man, I just went in there with the mentality of you got me for 3 months. I don't care what happened in there in these 3 months. I'm gonna pass it, you
Yeah.
know. So it was cool. It was entertaining for me. So like
I don't think a lot of people picked up on that it was legit a game. Like they were, they had shit planned out, plotted out. Regardless, stuff was gonna go a certain way, no matter what we did.
yeah, exactly. But you know what it did? I tell people this a lot anyway. One thing about the Marine Corps where it taught you was, I think I told you this yesterday. It was the first place I've been at where you can get blamed and get repercussions for something that you ain't even did anyway. Right. So
That messes with a lot of people.
yeah. So it's like, I didn't do it. How do I get in trouble? It's like,
Come
bro,
on, guys.
yeah, it's the nature of the beast, right? So, but it carries on in life where like certain stuff is out of your
Control out of you. Yeah.
control. Yeah. So like stuff can happen. Like it's not your fault. You just got to deal with it.
Yep.
So that helps me out a lot because like
I think that was real what you just said. Like you got to deal with it. You got to figure out how to adapt into it. And a lot of that messed up a lot of people because they'd be like, "Oh, there's got to be something we can do to stop this stuff." It's like, bro, this is how it is. This is a learning experience. They got to break you down to build you up.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But that happens in life though. Like every day out here, like certain stuff ain't in your control. Like
exactly.
you're not in control who you born to. You're not in control of your family, your environment anyway. You're not in control of the school system, right?
Yep.
That it's like, all right, but you can either look at it like I'm complain about that thing, or I'm gonna just focus on me to make myself better for whatever you want to become anyway.
Exactly. Huh. It's a good way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now when we graduated, did your moms come down?
Yeah.
Okay. Just her or what? Did you have any other family come down?
Nah, she came.
That had to be a good feeling. I remember I was proud as shit. My dad, my
Oh,
mom
yeah,
came down.
yeah. Yeah, you all sentimental and shit when you
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
I remember like that one tilt falling like Denzel on Glory.
Yep.
You know, when they hand you that Eagle Glove and anchor, they
I was
really
just
like,
gonna say that. That was like
yeah,
the most sentimental moment right there when they put that in
yeah,
your hand.
yeah. You like, man, but just in life, it's like shit. I went through all of this shit, and like, I got the thing. I was like,
And it's this big.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got the thing, you know. So, but it made life easier. Everything outside of the Marine Corps really ain't hard anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like you could go without eating. Like you had, we field stripped like 3 MREs for 3 days,
Oh, I forgot about that.
and then had to do all the stuff that you end up doing. Then hiking, and people got blisters.
What
They
was that
can't
called again? The Crucible.
the Crucible. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you get back, and then they got you. I don't know what they call it, Warriors Lunch or Warriors Chow or some shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
And
Oh, they had they put that spread out there for us. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody walking like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Moleskin.
Yeah, no, it
So
was cool.
in the last part of boot camp, they do this thing called the Crucible. I think it's like a combined like 200 miles that you end up traveling, but it tears up your feet, tears up your feet, and they give you this. It's almost like a bandage,
Yeah,
right? And it's really like it has like a I don't even know how you describe that, like a furry outside, so it rubs against your boot and it doesn't create friction. I think.
yeah, like an adhesive.
Yeah, yeah,
And
works like a charm though.
yeah, I was blessed. I ain't even have it anyway.
No,
Shit, I said I was blessed. I ain't even have no. My feet was just sore. I ain't never get like blisters or anything.
I think that just comes from sweat. Comes from
Yeah,
sweat.
dude. Everybody's just different, you know. Again, some people like shit. I grew up running on the street barefoot. Like that's how we raced growing up, you know. So I don't even think they can get missed.
Yeah,
To be honest.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. So we put boot camp behind us, and we went to the first job school, and for us that was Fort Leonard, and definitely eye opener for us because in boot camp they you kind of think that the Marine Corps is going to be some type of way similar to boot camp, but when you get into your first duty station or your first the job school that you're going to, you start seeing taking getting glimpse of the fleet and being around Marines that are have been doing their job for a little bit, and you start getting tidbits of seeing what it's going to be like. And Fort Leonard was just I don't know. I got a weird vibe from that place. Absolutely nothing out there. Freezing, absolutely freezing cold. And yeah, I don't know. What'd you think about Leonard?
Hey man, I enjoyed all the experience. I don't complain about nothing, man. So
Who said I was
uh,
complaining?
I didn't say you was complaining. I was just saying like it was. I just always just open. Like it's never like a bad time, right? So
That's
like
something really I noticed about you, dude. You really, you always kind of kept like a positive outlook no matter where we were at. Because maybe that's because you knew you could be somewhere else that was worse.
yeah, even before that, yeah. So like somebody always got something worse. I don't know why. It might just be a natural thing. It's just like shit could be worse, right? So
Yeah.
I remember being in, and it ain't like I experienced none of this growing up, you know. But I remember our company being the only one, like, cause it was the Army base, you know. So it ain't that many Marines, but we still there. And
Yeah.
I remember it snowed, and MP Company was the only company out there still PTing.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Nobody, the whole base is shut down. But the Marine Corps always got to go above and beyond. And
Set that
MP
example. Yeah.
above and beyond. It's
Let
like
them know.
we're freezing out here, and it's like, ah, all right, well, shit. I'm always like, well, people in the, they brainwash, right? People in the Korean War had to go through this shit, so it's like, hey, at least we get to go back to the barracks, Uh, that was cool. I remember times. Did we have a water gun fight? It
Yes,
was
we
some shit.
did.
like that. I
No, no,
remember.
no. Remember we got all decked out and
Yeah,
and
it
we went into the Air Force's barracks and we nailed them with snowballs.
was a
Man, I wish I
snowball. Yeah,
yeah,
snowball fight. That's what it was.
yeah.
Yeah,
Got,
'cause I
got
remember
all
snowball.
got all tactical with it.
I remember the K bar. I think I stabbed somebody on accident.
Martin.
Martin.
Yes.
Yeah,
Remember
I think.
we glued that shit together? Yeah. I
Oh,
remember I went with him to medical, and the doctor was like, "How much fucking glue did you put in this dude's leg?" Like, we had to, it was bad, bro. He almost got like really fucked up from that.
yeah, man. But
Oh shit!
it was life. Look,
It
I
was
didn't
like,
try.
oh man, good times.
I remember I stabbed the guy one time, but it was an accident.
Yeah, definitely an accident.
Yeah,
A lot of E and J was involved, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so we got out of Leadwood, and then I think we separated for a little bit. I think you went to South
Okie.
Carolina. Oh, did you go to Okinawa right off the jump?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, yep.
Oh, so you went right to Third Marine Division right out of that.
Nah, they didn't have. It was no field units over there at the time. So we went to PMO, but I was PMO on Hanson. So Hanson, you already know what Hanson is.
Yeah.
So still like laid back. But it was nothing but like field Marines up there. You
So
know,
what
so
you were running the gates?
nah, the Japanese guards had ran the gate.
Oh, okay.
So I was pretty much, to be honest, I was pretty much like desk sergeant or like riding out because we didn't have that many. Anthony big, you might have one or two patrol cars,
Yep.
but people can't drive other than the people that staff NCO and stuff
That's
that
right.
coming on so forth. But it was pretty much like on the weekends or something, you know, people getting drunk at the E Club, stuff like that. Which is interesting because I seen a clip and I said, that's what I'm talking about. I seen a clip from somebody and it was two different police. It was like one police officer was a military police officer, and the other police officer just was a regular guy, right? And the military guy, he was like, you know, the difference is everybody that we come in contact with is trained killers.
Big
I
facts.
said, exactly. Because you know, some of them like, oh, just because you was in the military, blah blah. Like, yeah, but guess what? Everybody who you about to lock up or come in contact with are trained killers. It's
That's
a
a fact.
different.
You had to take
Not
that into
Air Force,
consideration.
not in the Air Force, not like no.
Uh,
Everybody here at least has been to boot camp and MCT.
these are a
Not
bunch of pissed off Marines.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to go break up a fight or you trying to go do whatever, just know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. That's a fact. So just being in PMO over there, you must have seen some weird shit because it was a completely different breakdown. Like I did PMO for about a year on in Buford, and I think the extent of what I saw, I think there was a murder, and then I think the nastiest thing I saw at PMO was this is still kind of fucks me up a little bit, but as you know, young Marines are stupid. They get married early, and a lot of them have kids really early, and
Mm-hmm.
they're still doing stupid shit like partying. They don't really know how to handle what they have.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to respond to a young couple that had a party, and I think it was a lance corporal and a PFC, and yeah, they killed their kid. It was shaking baby syndrome. I guess
Oh.
yeah, I guess they were trying to get it to be quiet or something. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but yeah, we when we showed up, the baby was purple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what exactly happened, but that kind of just sticks in my head. Seeing that, I can't imagine. I don't know. To me, kids like that are just sacred, the most innocent thing that we have as human beings, and to do that to a little kid, that kind of just I don't know. That stuck with me. But that was the nastiest thing I saw in a PMO unit. I mean, to me, it was really we just deal with domestics most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's gonna be a little bit different because we ain't necessarily have
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the
You didn't really
houses.
have on base housing for. I mean,
Nah,
was
it
there?
was okay, not really, because most of the families, Hanson, Courtney had it, but Hanson Schwab was those. Don't nobody live there, so you
Oh,
only
because
there.
everyone lives out in town. That's right.
Yeah, or you live on Courtney, but people, it really wasn't a dependent housing like that. Now
Yeah.
you can still have domestics as far as uh, you know, a man and a woman per se, but not they actually supposed to live together anyway.
I like just the time that I worked PMO. I like seeing it from the other spectrum, seeing how like police work actually kind of goes down, so I can understand it a little more when I get
Yeah,
out of the brief. You know what I'm saying?
no, yeah, that's a good. It's a dope experience. Again, like people forget, like that I was a police officer or whatever, right? So it's like I love the experience. Like I get to see it from, even like people talking like from both sides, like you just said. So
How does now seeing something like that? How does that give you perspective in like what's happening right now, real time with you know police killing black people in the George Floyd situation, or I mean, you have perspective from seeing it from both sides. So I don't know. Does that make you think any different of it? Or I mean, to me, that's just poorly trained police officers. I
for
think
sure,
I think it's bad. There's bad apples no matter what color you are. And to me, I've never judged anyone on the color of the skin. It's the weight of their character. Um,
yeah.
and to me, I just think police officers need to invest more time in training, learning how to handle the weapons, learning how to handle escalation of force, which is big. You need to know when to pull your weapon. And I mean, as you know, for us, we're always trained fingers straight and off the trigger. I don't know. I see a lot of people just pick up weapons nowadays and their finger goes right on the trigger. And it's like, what are you thinking? But yeah, I mean, I know that's kind of a long-winded question, but give me your take on that.
Um, First is the root, right? So the root is most people haven't, like, the system is working how it was designed to work, right? So police brutality, racism, capitalism. So like I don't blame the system. The system is the system. I ain't saying the system right, but it's working how it's supposed to work, right?
Yep.
What happened? We seen that boot camp. So what happened was, or is anyway, you have it's not like a blame thing, but it's you have like white guy from Rhode Island, right? Never been around black people ever. So his only perception is what he see on TV. So you got the media showing them whatever the fuck they want to show him anyway, right? Then you have his family or her family, whatever perspective they got, right? Because they probably still haven't dealt with any.
Yep.
So, and this same person goes to become a police officer.
And that's
So,
all
when
they know. Yeah. I
so when
get
the same person becomes a police officer and not become police officer in their own neighborhood, you want to come police in our neighborhood per se, right? You don't know how to talk to people,
I never
right? You
looked at
don't
it like
know how to,
that. I get you.
you don't know how to communicate. So, and then you got people that's from, like I'm saying, like where I'm from the hood, right? So you
Yep.
got people from that may got a misdemeanor, may got a slap on their hand or whatever. Guess what? They automatically discredit from becoming a police officer.
Yeah, exactly. Which is
So
stupid.
so they can't go and protect per se the neighborhood or whatever, right? Or at least that area of town because you're able to communicate. So I seen a interview with an older guy from New York. He did 40 years for NYPD. He said he has never pulled his gun one time in 40 years, right?
40 years.
40 years, he has never pulled
Wow.
his gun, right? So, but he know how to talk to people. So when he go, like, I know how to talk to people. Every situation is different, but I go to a domestic case, I was like, hey, look, man, they want y'all in jail. Somebody gonna go to jail right now. But if you leave and you leave, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow and we'll see how stuff go. Other than that, somebody going to jail, right?
Yep.
That's a de-escalate. That's
De-escalation of force. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Then so that's one side of things. Then you got the police training side of things, right? We got ample amount of training. The Marine Corps MP school is like top tier per se, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And you don't necessarily know it while you in because we overdo everything in the Marine Corps. I'm talking about no matter what it is, we overdo it, right?
Yep.
Like if it calls for running 1 mile, we about to run 19 miles in a flak jacket and boots. He's like,
Yeah.
bro, what are we doing, right? But police officers in the city get horrible training. They get training for 8 to 10 weeks, and go around the road anyway.
Because they need bodies. They push them through.
Yeah. So you got people that's literally ill, like you just said, right? You see people like finger. I tell people this all the time. You see somebody with their finger on the trigger, run the other way because they don't know how. Because anybody how to shoot is gonna keep their finger straight off the trigger until they're ready.
Absolutely.
And they're not even gonna pull it, first of all, because like, I tell people, like, I have never not once pulled my gun since I got in the Marine Corps. They're like, you haven't? No, because you would hear it on the news if I pull out my gun.
Exactly. If you're pulling your gun, you're taking out what you're.
I was shooting. Yeah. Do I carry every day? Yeah, I carry every day.
But let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that a little bit because guns is huge right now, and I feel like the media. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for this, but whatever. Let's be real. The media is trying to take our guns, man. And when you see what they're saying, they're so ignorant and uneducated in weapons. The first thing you got to do if you're going to preach weapon safety or politics on weapons, understand it completely, please. Do your research. Like, as you say, when you All right, we're back. So we're talking about guns, man. To me, it's just it's aggravating because it's so simple to me because we're trained in weapons. You know what I mean? Like we know that they're here for us. I mean, it's a tool. It's not something that should be used as something to take away. It's a tool for us. It's a tool for protection. I mean, we're granted that right from the Constitution to be able to protect ourselves, and people are. I understand why people are, freaking out because the wrong people have weapons, but the wrong people are gonna get weapons regardless. They're gonna keep getting it off the street. They're gonna keep getting it off the black market. By instituting laws and rules, it's only gonna affect the people that follow them. It's just frustrating to me to see how the media is portraying it. And
absolutely,
go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean,
So they have it's definitely an agenda, and people that usually is speaking on it is because they have the agenda to be able to try to like document everybody weapons anyway, take guns away from you. And it's a sensitive subject, especially with black people too, though, right? It's a sensitive subject, and that's where I come in at, and then they usually like, no, they didn't think about it that way, right? Because guns don't kill people; people kill people,
Facts.
right? And most of the time, when people are not in, when I say ignorant, it's not like I'm demeaning somebody; it just means not knowing, So people are ignorant on guns, right? So rather than address the fact that, like, look, I just don't know how to use the thing, so everything I see is on TV, and it feel like guns are dangerous, right? But if that same person open up, let's just say, if you open up a pen, like actually one of those pens with the spring on the inside or whatever, and you know how that works, it's just a pen. It's the same thing as a gun anyway. Like, I'm a firearm instructor too, so like the first thing we're gonna do, just like in the Marine Corps, we're gonna break each part down. And we're
Take it
gonna
apart, put it back together. Yep.
What each of these things do, and it's just a piece of machinery anyway. It's just a tool. It doesn't go off unless it's an action behind it anyway, right? So when they make, that's why I don't know if I move out of the South if I stay in the United States because our
Seriously.
gun laws a little bit better opposed to most other states. Um, but the thing is like if you don't have, people think the government itself don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? Like we are the government. The people are the government, right?
Yep.
So you think that like somebody's gonna protect you, but what you're gonna end up doing is creating a police force.
Thank you.
Just
Completely
like
correct.
yeah, you're gonna create a police force where you can't do nothing without the government. Because if all the people don't have guns and the government got guns, then it's tyranny,
Absolutely.
right? So you have it's just because they blast even the mass murders or whatever, right? Mass only mean, if I think I'm correct, 2 or 3 or more deaths, right? Where you blast mass killing, and it's like I'm not knocking the 2 or 3 people that died, but it's like it's 2 or 3 people.
It's not
It's
mass.
not. It's
Yeah.
not 100. It's not 100 people that died, right?
That's that agenda right there, bro. That's that agenda.
Yeah, and then 70 some. I think it's 70% of mass killings are done with handguns. Like you can look it up. Like they're done with handguns, but people like all the AR and blah blah.
AR,
You
yep.
have this many rounds, and it's like, what if it don't matter if I had a magazine of 30 or 10?
Does
If
not
I know
matter.
what I'm doing, it doesn't matter because they created it. It exists. Magazines exist right now, right?
Yep.
So we can go back and forth on a million different situations, but like one situation that stood out to me was right after the one that happened in which was bad police training in Texas, the school shooting. It was probably a week, not even a week later. I think it was in Virginia. It didn't get blasted over the news though. So a week later, it was a guy that was sitting outside of a house party, like I think some college kids was graduating or something like that, and started shooting the AR outside the car. Like he in the car, he's shooting, right? Shooting up the house. A bystander, which was a woman. I don't know how the scene was set up as far as, but all I know is the lady came up and killed the dude, right? Because she was a law-abiding citizen and can have a gun. On the flip side, if that same situation happened in New York, guess what? It could have been 30, 40 people died in that house. Because New York, you can't have no gun.
Yep.
Or they make the laws so stringent that you like, it ain't even worth me getting.
Yeah, but they don't put that on the news.
They don't put that
yeah, no.
But the same politicians and whatever, guess what? They got armed security.
Yep.
Why you got armed security?
So what? That does not make any sense, man. And people need to understand this. I wish people would be more open to being, instead of being so stringent on the rules and everything like that, just be real. You don't understand it. Do your research. Understand that they're here for us to protect us. Like
if we taught it, in the thing is like back in the day, you want to call it like 1700s, 1800s, whatever the case may be. You were taught this as a kid, right? So
yeah,
everybody
you're right.
Everybody know how to use this thing as a kid. It's not taboo.
So it was regular. It was regular. Yeah.
Yeah. Me, I leave my gun, not because I just leave them, but I teach them and I leave my gun. I got the kids. I leave my guns around the house, right? And guess what? They know what a real gun is. They know what the SIRT pistol is. They know, hey, you want to break it down? All right, cool. But they're never going to, I'm 100% sure I can drop my kids off at anybody's house and they're not going to touch your gun.
That's impressive.
Other people, the people that shoo away from guns, guess what the kids going to do?
They're going to pick it up and be like, what's this?
They're going to pick it up. What's this? Right? My kids are going to be like, hey, look, bro, that's a real gun that can hurt somebody. Don't touch it.
Well said, Travis. Seriously. A lot of people are gonna disagree with that and be like, "Oh, our kids and weapon," but you're being real. That's that they you institute it, you teach it, you make it so they understand. They're gonna stay away from them. They're
But
gonna know.
but you know what's dope though? This is what's dope. This is what's dope. And this is why I like the I feel like Ross, like you seen that thing that say my confidence is overwhelming, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
But this is what's dope. This is why I love the Marine Corps and I love the fact that I became a police officer, even though they gave it to me. And I love the fact that I was we went to Afghanistan, you know, actually fought in war, right?
yeah. Yep.
Because it don't matter who, like they see this video and they say, "Oh, I don't know about that horrible parenting." Guess what? I don't give a fuck because I fought for the motherfucking country.
Yes, you
You
did.
know what I'm saying?
Yes, you did.
So
I
I
com-
don't give a fuck what you're
I,
talking about. Do you
I
got
completely
balls
agree with
enough
you.
to, do you got balls enough to go over there? We was excited.
Yes, we were.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah. No, I
oh,
hear what you're saying,
we
bro.
finally get to go do what we've been trained to do.
Yes,
Let's go. But it's a bunch of weak ass people out here in the world
it's
right
true.
now.
It's
A
true.
bunch of weak men that they can have a lot of material possessions, but guess what? Real men go to war.
Yep. Big facts. I
You
was
know,
talking.
I ain't saying that people that's not, I don't know how to get it. I ain't saying that you're not a man if you don't go, but I'm just telling you that
Real ones know what we're talking about.
yeah, you can't deny that. So I don't care what nobody say about anything because it's like I done did the ultimate of everything. I've been a police officer, I've been a firefighter, I done saved people, I
Yep.
done went in burning buildings. So it is what it is.
I've done my time.
Yeah.
I've been in those situations, and I hear you. I was talking with Dre the other day, Doc Dre, and we were kind of talking about Andrew Tate a little bit,
uh,
and you're aware of what's going on with him, I'm sure.
uh,
So, and I was a fan of him for a little bit because he says a lot of things that, and I know he's doing it for a purpose. I know he's doing it to portray a certain image, but he says a lot of things that's in the back of our heads as alphas, as alpha males, and something I didn't really think about. Dre kind of put me onto it. Was what were in our era, in our time frame, what was the alpha of the alpha doing? What were we were going to war. The we were going to fight the Taliban, and all these people that are so opinionated nowadays are so, I don't even know how I'm connecting this with Andrew Tate, but it's kind of sent me off on a tangent. But all these people that are making such a big deal about all the things from weapons to masculinity to whatever you want to call it, they never went and fought. They
nah,
never, they have no idea what they're talking about.
nah.
They're taking tidbits from the media, from bad sources, and making their own opinions on things they don't understand. They don't know. They've never seen. They never touched it. And I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but to me, there's a lot of betas that are making these opinions, that are being very opinionated, that are making the laws.
Mhm.
And I just that's got to change. It's got to change, and I know we're at a low level and we're just talking about it, but it's kind of making me get involved with politics a little bit more because I thought about it the other day. I don't know who my local mayor is, the governor. I don't. These are the people that are making laws. These are the people that are influencing things, and I don't know who they are.
Mhm.
And I don't know, man. I kind of want to. If I actually want to make a change, I don't know. I have to affect the people at that level, and I feel like people like us that have, as you said, fought in war, actually pulled a trigger in war, we should be the ones that are influencing these things. We should be the ones that are talking about these things, that should be having these conversations and putting the tidbits in there. And I don't know. I feel strongly on that.
Well, you're kind of doing it now with the podcast, so once it grows, uh, and people get different perspective on stuff anyway, so a lot of people don't know. They don't even know. The thing about it is 85% of people are followers.
Exactly. You're right.
So when you already understand that, and these same people are in politics, these same people are in the local government, these same people are in the federal government that making laws. And they're still followers.
Exactly.
So it's a term or quote, and I may be slaughtering it, but it's like comfortable times.
Oh, we tried this the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. Comfortable time make weak men anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we're comfortable. Society is comfortable right now because everything, like if I wanted to order some food right now, I
Right.
can
It's
go on
at
my
your fingertips. Yeah.
and grab it. Ain't nobody getting dirty. Masculinity itself is at an all time, like it's getting uh tarnished every day. Like it's an insult to be a man.
You notice that?
You know what I'm saying? Like, or like you got to be aggressive, or you got so we end up being quiet and laying back and just looking at it. And when it's like we definitely in the matrix, right? So like what they don't show you, if the media, like people understood the media, like your phone anyway, like wow, I can say a word and then the first thing I do is it pops up
Pulls.
on my
That's
right.
creepy.
Or people don't understand like why are they showing you this first or this or why the news? I watched the news. I only watched the news. Watched the news the other day. 9 out of the 10 stories before the commercial, everything was negative.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
not one positive thing I counted. Not one positive thing on the news. So what the news don't show you is if they would have showed you maybe those 4,000 bodies that came from Afghanistan, you probably feel another type of way about people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If America did like South Korea did, or some of these other countries, everybody's teaches on. But we seen it. So like everybody at 18 to 20, in 2 years, everybody should serve in the military. Then you got a sense of pride for the country already, and it make it better work for it because a lot of
But think about it. It doesn't make sense to me because I feel like a lot of us did serve in the military. In our
still only 1%.
That's true. That's true.
Most people
But
like
doesn't it seem like we're quiet? You're
we're
right.
quiet.
We're kind of sitting back and like just looking at everything because
Yeah.
I don't know if we're afraid to speak on things or if what it is, but I don't think we are. No one's really voicing their opinion on this stuff because
Uh,
come on, look at the current society.
yeah, because you get not counsel. You get
Oh, you're right. You get canceled.
you get counsel, but that's why I sent you that person post yesterday. Cause like if you go to some of the stories, it's like even this conversation or whatever is like stuff can get said without you know the Andrew Tateness, but people like that still got to exist. You
Yeah.
know, what I'm saying they went against when you go against the foundation, the structure, you're exposing stuff. You got people thinking, right? So it's like, and we already know this, like in war, right? How do you control a mass amount of people?
Disinformation.
You got to control them by manipulation. Hitler even said it.
Yeah,
He
he
said,
did. You're right.
you make the lie big enough,
Yep.
tell it enough times,
People would
sooner or
just
later people
it'll
believe
start
it,
catching.
right?
Yeah. Like, oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
when
heard that.
people are hearing about right, firearms and they need to ban, you'll just hear and I ask somebody, and I was like, so why do you feel like that? Do you know how to use one? Every time is I don't know how to use one.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Because
you
they're
didn't want to.
scared. They're scared.
You didn't want to admit that.
Yeah.
So,
No
so,
one wants to look stupid. That's the thing.
yeah. So if you didn't want to admit it, that's why you rather say, "Well, why?" I got blood family, but I put them. I don't put them in their place, but I got blood family that I was literally like, it just share insight because they can't say the same thing to me. Like, oh, they should ban this. They should do this, and it's like, why? I got 30. Cause guess what? Criminals don't care about guns. Criminals don't care
This
about no
is what I
laws.
was trying to say. This
That's
is what I'm
why they're
trying to say.
criminals. That's the definition of being a criminal.
Yep.
Breaking
Not
the law.
following the rules, not giving a fuck about them. Like, come on, people.
Yeah.
It's sad,
You
but they're
know
not
how
going to
long
realize it till it's too
cocaine has
late.
been illegal? You know how long cocaine has been illegal in America? You can go get cocaine.
But yeah, you could
You
get,
know how
yeah,
long
exactly.
heroin?
Perfect example.
You can go get heroin.
Yep. Very
Marijuana
true.
is still illegal on the federal level, but guess what? You can walk out here and get it. Right? So criminals are going to get their gun. You know, so, and if you want to do a malicious act, you're going to do it regardless, right?
Yep.
You're going to do it like that's what you, but in Georgia, again, I ain't telling about all other states, but even like what happened in Texas a few weeks ago, when a guy came and like robbed a restaurant almost anyway. So he came in, took whatever somebody had in their purse, stuff, robbed everybody in there. Turned his back, walking out the door, dude stands up, shoots him.
Yeah, buddy. Right?
In the South, everybody got guns.
I bet it's significantly safer.
When criminals are aware, it's a catch-22. Everybody don't know how to shoot neither though. But at least people got guns. But the thing is, a criminal is gonna think before doing something crazy down here in a setting anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because go to a movie theater here, guess what? People got guns.
There's straps.
Go to Waffle House here,
you better believe it. Yeah.
You go to Target, do something crazy if you want to. People got guns. You know, so it just depends on where the person at. But if somebody and the bad part is that dude committed the crime with a fake gun.
Oh, that's right. I seen that. That's right. I did see that. Yep.
And the dude who shot him was pissed when he seen it. He's like, "Come on, bro." But that's what you get. But I think it should be at least guns should be like at least 9th grade. It should just be an education. It should be a class. Firearms.
I agree.
That way, everybody has a knowledge of it. Is it in a controlled environment? And
I mean, that's another thing we can go on too, dude. They're teaching the wrong thing in schools.
No, they don't teach you nothing. I bet you don't know nothing past 9th grade right now.
Nope.
You don't use nothing past 9th grade.
They need to be teaching money, taxes. I mean, all these things. Something that's useful in the real world. I mean,
they could, but it's working like it's supposed to work. It's the Matrix, right?
Making stupid people. Yep. Followers. Keyword followers.
Yeah. So most of the school system that we still design, it was based on the Industrial Revolution, right?
You're right.
Everybody to have a decent cookie cutter education the same way, so they educated enough to go work in the factories, right? Now we're in information technology. We're in the information age right now, right? They're still teaching the same thing they taught you in the Industrial Revolution, but that stuff don't even make a difference because they got robots to build stuff now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but they could do apprenticeships. So guess what? They still pushing college, and I'm not knocking college. People should go to college, or at least have a direction of exactly where you want to go. Like, look at that job if you get this degree at the end.
I get you.
But a lot of people ain't built for college. So guess what? If I had an apprenticeship at 16 in school, maybe I was gonna be an apprentice for a plumber. Maybe I was gonna be an apprentice for an HVAC technician. Maybe I'd be an apprentice for a lineman worker.
Yep.
Whatever the case may be. And you may be great in life with that, right? But you don't, and you still trying to go to college. Now you're depressed. You got anxiety. You don't feel worthy enough. Well, meanwhile, and you got kids around, go tell a kid at 18, like, hey man, you should go be a plumber apprentice. Like, plumber, I'm gonna go work for a tech company or go work for YouTube. I want to make YouTube videos, right? My plumber make $300,000.
Exactly.
A robot. They can't make no robot to go do plumbing.
That's a technical job that you need to have a brain for.
HVAC. HVAC.
Same thing.
Apprenticeship. If everybody walked out of school at least a baseline of something, we'll have a more productive society.
Absolutely. Good luck telling that to kids nowadays, though. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man. Like, I'm gonna go to college. It's like, man, look, it's no loss on plumbing. I can just tell you that. Cause guess what? They not tripping.
No, exactly.
What?
It's more work for people with a brain.
Yeah, welders,
Yeah,
same.
I hear
All,
you.
all these jobs that like a computer can't do that.
So I'm gonna switch it up on you real quick. So the main thing that I'm trying to do with this podcast, and me and you have talked about it a couple of times, man. I kind of went into creating this podcast with I wanted to help. I wanted to help vets, man. I wanted
Mhm.
to help guys like us. I when I came back, I struggled a lot, uh, and I know that there's more people like me, and I wanted to help guys like me, and that's what I wanted to do with the podcast at first,
Mhm.
until I really realized that the stuff that I'm saying is hitting more people than just vets. It's not
Mhm.
only vets that have anxiety and PTSD struggles. And I mean, I know we live in an age where that's trendy right now. Everyone seems to want to have PTSD
Bro.
because you got in a car accident and your dog died. Like, to me, and I'm not knocking people like that. Trust me, I'm not. I understand there's trauma everywhere, but to
Yeah.
me, PTSD is I don't want to say it's just for vets either, but it's at a certain level that you have PTSD is significant trauma that you've see. I don't want to categorize it at that, but I don't know. I can say this shit because I've been in the groups, bro. I've
Mhm.
done the PTSD specialty groups in the VA. I've talked to the counselors,
Mhm.
and I see a lot of people just milking it in these programs, waiting to hear what I have to say so they can put a little salt and pepper on their story. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So they can sound legit. And I don't know, that really bothers me, man, because I feel like it takes away from the real people that are in these
Mhm.
programs that are actually there to try to get help. And I don't know. I know nothing I'm saying right now is going to make that change, but I'd like to make people aware of it at least.
I mean, even if you just change one person, you know what I'm saying? You affect one person, that's enough, right? So what we do have is like hypervigilance.
Yes.
So we have hypervigilance. We have issues with social adapting anyway. So we end up tend to being quiet.
I was going to ask you that, dude, because you don't really talk about it much. And I know you keep it to yourself a lot, but tell me how, that affected you a little bit when you got home.
Yeah, it still does anyway. It just kind of just being cognitive of it. I ain't perfect by far, so I have the issue with I don't have to talk to nobody for no days. I almost ain't got to talk to nobody, right? So we we kept a little bit of it with me being a firefighter, but still firefighters ain't. I'm not knocking firefighters. Like, hey, it was a good job. It was a good. It's some dudes that go out there and do some work for sure. But the Marine Corps was different. Like
Oh, yeah.
I was a war fighter, right? That's why
Yeah.
like I can go do that right now, right? So like, but you at home in that space, like, and you know everybody that was there. We missed that teamwork.
For
We
sure.
missed that same. Uh, even the smallest. I'm not gonna call his name, but you know what I'm talking about. But even the smallest person, the smallest Marine, I take over like the biggest something else anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because he got that dog in him,
Yep.
you know. So we miss a lot of things, man. So it definitely affects you. So that's why, and you don't even. It's like, why even have the conversation because you're not gonna understand,
Yeah, exactly. I
or like, or you can't necessarily. Like I told
influence it or
you,
change. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, it's like I try to input myself in the other person's shoes with their thought process, with their mentality, their perspective. But most people don't know how to communicate, so they communicate by like, well, this is what I would have did if I was that person. But you can't think about it like that. You got to think about it in that person's point of view.
Yeah, we were talking about this recently. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, so I'm always just like, so it messes with you on that level because you know you want to be, you wish everybody can kind of get it and have the same work ethic or even like value what you did, but most of the jobs that I had, again, in the Marine Corps, in a way, like it's not it ain't valued. So I done got used to like, but now like doing what I do right now, people like, man, I appreciate you, you're awesome. Well, I don't even know how to deal with that, right?
Yeah, I
Because
get you.
like, what you talking about? Like, I just do my job.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different. We do
Yeah.
it differently.
So the
And
whole
I hear you.
like it just I deal with it every day though. You know, people just don't know. They think I'm like an extrovert or something, but I'm really like
Complete opposite.
introvert. Nah, I have to make myself do the stuff
I
online.
get you.
But do I want to? Like,
Hell
nah.
no. I completely agree with you. Huh. Yeah, I hear
Nah,
you, man.
good thing that you doing though, man. So, you know, you just gotta just stay consistent at doing it. And then once you venture off and probably like being on other people's podcasts anyway, maybe being in those what's the thing called? Like Wounded Warrior, some of those type of things. Maybe even host an event. Like you can be a like when Memorial Day come up. I was gonna do it last year. I'm glad I mentioned it right now. So I'm gonna probably try to like be one of the sponsors of the thing. Like you can host your own like the Murph Challenge and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can host your own. You don't, so the more awareness and the more people can kind of tune in, veteran or not. But everybody deals with issues, but people are, I think people are receptive of hearing stories. It ain't got to necessarily be that way, but it's just to show perspective on life anyway. So like, I don't. One thing about the greatest thing about being in Afghanistan, I seen the article and I was like, yeah, that's definitely it. It's the best time and the worst time of your life at the same time, right?
Which is
So
trippy.
yeah, so one it's the best time of your life because you like it's the first time where obviously we was in boot camp and other stuff, but it's the first time where like it's no connection to nothing. It ain't no phone, it ain't no internet, it ain't anything.
I feel
So
like that makes you focus completely on the job at hand, though, when you don't have
it,
any distractions.
it does, but it also makes you focus on yourself. So
That's
you
true.
so you go back into your thought process all day
That's
and
true.
you visualize your whole life every day, like, okay, man, this is why I'm like this. You know,
You
this
become a little
person,
bit more self-aware. You have to look
yeah,
at yourself. Yeah, I agree.
but you're okay with being by yourself.
Yep.
Most people in the world have never
Truly,
been by
man. Yeah.
themselves,
I didn't.
right?
You're right, dude. Because over there, you have nothing. You have no cell phone. You have no contact with anyone. You are stuck in your head, man, and you got to be confident in that.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. Most people, but I'm saying like from birth, right? So you take somebody, even my age, or even before, like people that didn't go into the military, right? So they born in a nice hospital, it's nice, warm, cozy, and you go home, like maybe their parents put them in daycare. It's warm and cozy there. They go to school. Maybe they didn't never go to a camp. You know what I'm saying? Even if they did go to camp, they're still with people, right?
Yep.
Go to high school, finish high school, go to college, still with people the whole time. Go to work with people.
That's
But
true. I like the clip.
to be totally by
Isolated.
yourself,
Yep.
no phone, no nothing. Most people ain't never experienced that.
Very true. Especially nowadays.
And because we experience it so much, I find myself like backing off from people. Well, people probably feel like I back off, but I can just go dormant. And it ain't against nobody. I just okay with being by myself.
Yeah, I get you.
I don't want to talk to nobody. It ain't
Sometimes you got to do it. You got to isolate yourself a little bit just to. I do at least.
yeah. And there's no love lost from to nobody. I can go days. Like
Yeah,
I
I hear you.
don't not talk to nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Huh. Cool way to look at it. But so we're about to close up another session. Let's before we get out of here, let's I want to talk about ATL chill a little bit, man. Talk to me about what you're doing, what's new, and yeah, talk to me about ATL chill, bro.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't get. Yeah, so it was a crowd therapy company anyway. I mainly started because I injured my back in Afghanistan. I went back over there as a firefighter anyway, and had a few back surgeries. Couldn't walk. Ended up coming across this crowd therapy equipment that I had before, and got it done one time. I walked in 2 days anyway. So I feel like more people needed that. So we found a solution to a problem, right? So it's like me being in the space of medical emergencies and injuries, exercise science and personal training and bodybuilding and stuff. I'm like, man, this could benefit a lot of people. Like I know people are in pain, and I get the science, right?
Yeah.
So I started the company, kind of just kept going. So treated over a lot of people, a lot of pro athletes, a lot of everyday people, a lot of veterans, and then now I'm leaning more towards the sale and distribution of our own equipment, and it's been okay, from
Man,
building the brand.
you're
Right?
being really, really humble right now because just from what I've seen as an outside looking in, man, I think people are starting to really see that it's effective and that it works. Because you wouldn't be at the level that you're at right now if it didn't. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
honestly, man, hats off to you, bro. I want you to know that I see you out here. I see you grinding. And good for you, man. Because I know where you came from, and I know you built it all yourself, and I know what that takes. That's not easy.
Mhm.
Good for you, bro. Seriously.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So no, yeah, it's cool. I'm just, I keep it. I try not to like. I get where you're coming from on the word, but I had met this. I'm looking it up right now. I had met this woman one time, and I was like, yeah, I'm humble, per se, right? And she was like, I don't need you to say that word no more. And I was like, huh? She was like, look it up, right? So I'm looking it up right now. So it says, but I still know where you was coming from with it. I'll
No,
just
go ahead. Go
explain
ahead.
like mentally, right? So humble, having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
So you ain't got to be arrogant. Obviously, like I'm not arrogant. I try not to use the word, but I still know how most people still view the word anyway. So it's not like I don't use the word. But yeah, man, I just I'm literally like neutral in most cases anyway. I just know like I just try to find some understanding in whatever it is anyway.
I
So
get you. I hear you.
and I know again war, right? So war always it teaches you like death teaches you life. Most people ain't never seen death.
That's real.
Right? Most people uh
Now, are you saying
all the
death
time
teaches you to appreciate life?
both, right? So like most people haven't never seen death in person. They only seen somebody die in the hospital, hear about it, see them in a funeral home, clean.
And it's
You know,
different. Let
they
me
never
tell
seen,
you.
right? Seeing somebody again. I kept seeing it,
Yeah.
right? So uh seeing somebody freshly there, or even being in Afghanistan, right? So you seen it when you walking through a neighborhood, you might just see piles of rocks.
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly because they bury you on site
They
out
bury
there.
you on
Where you
top of the
die,
ground.
you get buried.
But people have in America anyway, like we so removed from death, like the vision of it. They don't show it to you may see gunshots stuff like on
I was
TV or
saying
whatever.
this the other day. You're on something right here. You're right.
Yeah, they don't show it to you, right?
We're
So like
desensitized. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I'm seeing this live car accident, boom, they out. I'm seeing this in war, boom, they out, right? But most people ain't never seen that. So because I've seen death, it's like I know life, right? So it's like if we got in an argument, I don't necessarily want to leave. I ain't trying to necessarily make it better, but I'm like, look, I cannot see this person again. Like you can walk, like me, you can get arguing. I don't want to hold that over your head. Like, if I
This is
really,
this is about to kill out again, Travis. I'm about to open a new session, so hold on to that. I'm gonna pause it and open a new one.
all right.